In the quiet streets of Hyde, a small town near Manchester, the figure of Dr. Harold Shipman moved like a shadow that no one questioned. He was trusted, respected, and admired. To his patients, he was not just a doctor. He was a friend, a savior, even a fatherly figure to some. But behind the polished glasses, calm voice, and the white coat lurked something darker than anyone could imagine. Harold Frederick Shipman was born in 1946 in Nottingham, England. From the very beginning, he wasn't like other children. He was quiet, reserved, and not easy to approach. His family was modest, and his world revolved around his mother. She was his anchor, his everything. But when she was diagnosed with cancer, young Harold witnessed her slow decline. Day after day, he saw doctors administer morphine to ease her pain. He watched her fade away, but in her last breaths, he saw something powerful, how a simple injection could control life and death. That image stayed with him forever, buried deep in his mind like a seed waiting to grow. When he later entered medical school, Harold carried that silent obsession. To the world, he was just another ambitious young man training to heal. But in reality, he was fascinated by the thin line between life and death, and how easily it could be crossed by the hands of a doctor. As a practicing physician in the 1970s, Shipman was intelligent, neat, and convincing. But trouble followed early. He was caught forging prescriptions for pethidine, an opioid he had secretly become addicted to. He was fined and entered rehab. For most doctors, this would have been the end of their career, but not for Harold Shipman. Somehow, he clawed his way back, and society allowed him to return to medicine. That decision would cost hundreds of lives. For years, he built the perfect disguise. He became the trusted family doctor in Hyde. People adored him. He made home visits, gave friendly advice, and was always there when families needed him most. But while the community saw a savior, he was quietly becoming something monstrous. One by one, his patients began to die. At first, nobody noticed. After all, most of his victims were elderly, already fragile. Death was not suspicious, but Shipman's method was precise, cold, and repetitive. He used morphine injections, the same drug he had seen given to his mother, the same drug that fascinated him all those years ago. Patients who had been smiling and talking just hours earlier were suddenly gone, peacefully slipping away under his care. Families mourned, funerals passed, and Shipman always appeared with sympathetic words. And here lies the horror. People trusted him even more because of how caring he seemed. Before I take you deeper into this nightmare, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Stories like this prove that reality is darker than fiction. And the next chapter is about to get even more chilling. Through the 1980s and 1990s, Shipman's confidence grew. Death surrounded him, yet suspicion was rare. The medical system trusted doctors too much, and he used that blind trust as his weapon. He signed death certificates himself. He reassured grieving families. He even attended funerals. It was almost perfect. Police got involved. Kathleen's body was exhumed, and the truth was undeniable. Lethal levels of morphine were in her system. This wasn't natural. This wasn't fate. This was murder. The investigation cracked open Shipman's carefully built world. Medical records, prescription histories, and exhumations revealed the unimaginable. He hadn't just killed Kathleen Grundy. He had killed again and again and again. The numbers were horrifying. At first, investigators suspected 15 murders, then 30, then over 200. Harold Shipman wasn't just a killer. He was one of the most prolific serial killers in history. If this story shocks you, hit subscribe right now, because what you're about to hear will make you question everything you thought you knew about trust. In 2000, Harold Shipman was tried and convicted of 15 murders. But experts believe the real number could be closer to 250. Think about that. 250 people, lives stolen by the very man meant to protect them. The courtroom was filled with pain. Families wept, angry, confused. How could the kind man who came into their homes, drank tea with them, and cared for their parents also be the monster who killed them? But Shipman showed no remorse. He sat calmly, denying everything, even as evidence piled against him. Prescription documents, witness statements, and forged wills. It was undeniable. Yet he refused to admit his crimes, never explaining why. Was it power? Was it the thrill of playing God? Or was he reliving his mother's death over and over again through his patience? To this day, no one knows. Shipman was sentenced to life imprisonment, with the judge recommending he never be released. Families hoped for answers, but Harold never spoke. Silence became his final weapon. Then, in 2004, news broke. Harold Shipman was found dead in his prison cell, hanging from the bars, just one day before his 58th birthday. For many, his suicide was a coward's escape. For others, it was justice finally catching up. But for the families of his victims, it brought no closure, only more questions. What drove him to do it? Why those specific victims? Why the forged wills? Why the arrogance to think he would never be caught? Those questions remain buried within. If you've stayed with me this far, subscribe right now, because stories like these are not just about crime. They are about human nature, power, and the terrifying secrets people can hide in plain sight. Harold Shipman's crimes forced Britain to change forever. Laws were rewritten about how deaths are certified, how prescriptions are controlled, and how doctors are monitored. Trust in medicine was shaken to its core, and today, his name still chills anyone who hears it. He wasn't a shadow lurking in dark alleys. He wasn't a masked figure hiding at night. He was worse. He was the trusted man you invited into your home, the doctor you believed would save your life. But Harold Shipman didn't save lives. He stole them. His story is a reminder that sometimes the most terrifying monsters don't look like monsters at all. They look like us. They smile, they comfort, they shake your hand, and then, when you least expect it, they take everything away.